Hi, everybody. Jeff Shore back with you at newhomesalesleaders.com. Thanks for joining us. And I'm here today with the person who I admire and respect very much as one of the really great thinkers in the world of new home sales and marketing. Kevin Oakley is the vice president with Heartland Homes, calling in today from the great state of Pennsylvania. Yes, how are you, Kevin?
Yep. Very good. Good to talk to you, Jeff.
Glad to have you with us. Thanks for giving us your time, Kevin. You got a book out there, Pre-Sale Without Fail, a phenomenal ebook. I read it, loved it. Wish I had it when I was a VP of Sales and Marketing. Talk just a little bit about the book, why you wrote it, and just to give us sort of the gist of the book.
Sure. It all started with actually a big sales success that my company had right when I started. We sold 14 houses in one day, and everyone said, man, you guys, we got lucky on this one. It was pent-up demand, the right price, the right product. We hit the sweet spot, but, this isn't going to happen again. And part of the way my mind works is I'm always looking for a process that can duplicate success and learn from failures as well. And I said, there's got to be a way that I can replicate this experience. And so, when we knew we had something was when we took a C location, a community that had only sold 8 houses in an entire year. There was a new phase coming online, same product, same just continuation of the street. Nothing changed. We followed this same pre-sale program, and we sold 8 houses in a single day, with nothing changing other than the process. And one of the reason I write on my blog and do ebooks is I'm just a big believer in the best way to push myself is to put everything out there that I know, and it forces me to keep reading and learning from people like yourself about what is working, and it also just helps really to clarify my own thoughts as I'm doing sales training and meetings here. Putting it down on paper really cements it up in my head as well. So the ebook is free. It's been downloaded now over 1,000 times, and what's really exciting is now starting to hear success stories of people who have implemented it from across the country.
That's great. Yeah, it is interesting to me how in our industry, so many sales leaders choose to sort of reinvent the wheel and think that they have to make it all up from scratch. But I think smart guys like you and I recognize that we're not above ripping off great ideas from just about anywhere we can find them, right?
Absolutely. It was about the day or so after I published the ebook, I had a guy call me up who was in his mid-70s, and I don't know how he got a hold of it, but he said, this is the stuff we used to do, back when I was a kid. We would bring people in by the truckload and ring the bells, and so it's, you don't have to reinvent it. You may have to put a new spin on it, but you certainly need to start from nothing.
Absolutely. And the blog is found at brandpossible.com. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what you do at Heartland Homes and the initiative that you have as an organization. Everybody will talk about customer service, and we want to get our customer service numbers up and all of that. I've always looked at it, and you and I haven't had this conversation directly, but my sense is that you're going to agree with me, is that your customer service score is nothing more than result of very specific behaviors that got you to that point. We always look at it and say, well, how do you get the numbers up? And I think you and I would probably look at it more and say, no, let's say, how do you get the experience up? The numbers are going to follow, but talk us a little bit about your evolution in thinking and the steps that your company has taken in regards to providing a really a truly unique customer experience.
Yeah, just a quick word on scores. They're one of the things that really bugs me when companies, so much of the time they just want to talk about, well, how can we change the survey? Are we asking the right questions? Right. Putting so much blame and onus on the customer. And one of the things that I say a lot that sometimes isn't real popular with builders around the country is, sometimes we put our customers in a cage and we say, congratulations, the emotions transferred, the sale is made. Go ahead and step inside this caged box, and we're just going to poke you with a stick over the next 4-month building process. And just like any caged animal would, we let them out, and of course, they can turn on you. So It's just really looking back and analyzing from beginning to end. And there's an author His first name is escaping me. His last name is DeJulius, and fantastic author. Works with Starbucks and Nordstrom and Ritz-Carlton, all the rest. And he really talks about breaking everything down. And so, we mapped out our customer experience from beginning to end at every touch point in incredible detail, so that when a reaction comes that surprises us, that we don't expect, where someone isn't happy, or we see something that is being repetitive, we can pinpoint at what point of the process potentially is causing that reaction to occur. Because obviously, we all know that it's all about expectations. Expectations we don't meet causes hurt, which causes the person in your office or the bad survey score. And so once you know where to start, then you work like a scientist and you make adjustments. We found that our customers were feeling neglected around the time of drywall. And again, I stole a great idea from a builder in Oklahoma. He said I could steal it, so I guess it's really just taking. But we send 24 cupcakes to every homeowner at drywall with a thank you note from the salesperson. And now, instead of customers feeling alienated, they come in and actually give salespeople hugs on occasion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who doesn't love a good cupcake? But I get the point here that it's the matter of just those simple touches along the way that are going to make a huge difference. Just in describing this, as I'm listening to you to describe your thought pattern as you evaluate beginning to end and try and figure out well where are those points where we could have a threat of losing control. It almost sounds, and I could be wrong on this, so feel free to correct me, but it almost sounds like you see yourself as a plant manager where you take the raw material of a prospect and you're going to walk them through and you're going to get the finished product, which is a very, very thrilled, referring customer at the end. And there's this manufacturing process that takes place all the way through, and we got to look at it and say, well, hold on, the product isn't coming out perfect over here because this part of the process over here is damaged a little bit. We got to fix that part of the process in order to make sure that we've got a good looking product by the time we're done. Am I putting too much on this?
No, you're right on, but the challenge is so much of what is shaping and molding that customer to the end is people, and that's where great companies differ. I love when people ask me about Heartland success and they say, how do you guys do it? And they're looking for that silver bullet answer, and I can look them straight in the eye and say, there's just a lot of really good people working really hard. And anyone can buy an ad, anyone can spend money and gain awareness in a marketplace, and almost anyone, if they really try, can build a good looking model, cut the grass in their development, put signs out, and try to match what they're promising. But once it gets down to the people, it's one-on-one, and that's a whole nother ball game. And that's where the companies that take it to the next level are the ones who are able to keep their company culture focused on that common goal. Right,
but it is a company culture issue, because you had said, well, you got to have a whole lot of really good people who are working really hard. I mean, in all honesty, Kevin, I've worked with a lot of companies where I've seen a lot of really good people who are working really hard, but the culture just doesn't complement that or allow them to shine or contribute at the level that they could really best serve not just the company but also the customer. So there is a significant cultural difference here that you're dealing with.
Absolutely, and there's that tension that you'll feel when you visit certain companies where you'll meet somebody who gets it, but maybe the owner's philosophy is just different. And that's I talk to a lot of people about the fact that there's three attributes of a home builder that exist, and you can only have two of them. You can be really profitable, you can sell high volume, or you can have super high quality. But one of the first lessons when I got in this business is that you can only have two. And as a salesperson or as a manager or anyone in the company, you have to figure out which two are the most important to my builder, and do they match me personally? Or else you're always going to be frustrated with not having that matched vision and culture.
Right. Sure, absolutely. Let's handle one more topic before we wrap it up here, Kevin. I have the opportunity to work with people who have the same title as you do, Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and there are a lot of people from coast to coast who are going to carry that title.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to think the way that you think. And one of the issues that I see, and I was working with my coach on this recently, and the question that she asked me, it was a really, really good question. The question was, Jeff, what do you hate? What do you hate? Everybody's got to hate something. It's actually a powerful motivator. What do you hate? And it didn't take long for me to sort of settle in on the idea that I hate unfulfilled potential. I hate when people perform at levels lower than I know that they're capable of doing.
Yep.
And yet what we see is a lot of people who are willing to do kind of the minimum that they need to do to get by. They're in a tough job like a VP of sales and marketing, so they're running 1,000,000 miles an hour, putting out fires, attending meetings, and doing everything else. They don't even feel like they have time to think on the same levels that you think. So I know it sounds like I'm asking you to toot your own horn here, but what I'm asking is, what is it intrinsically that causes you to break apart from that and say, I still have all of these duties over here. It's still a very hectic, very busy job, but somehow you've managed to find yourself in a position where you're able to find that time to think bigger and higher and broader than most people who carry that same title.
Sure. Well, the easy answers are, how much television are you watching, where are your priorities and all of that. But I think the other part is focusing on the right problems. And that's, today was the discussion of change orders. There was a meeting this morning, and the initial gut reaction, of course, is you just cut them off. And while that may temporarily solve the problem, knowing, and you have to be really familiar with your particular organization, the people involved, how everything works, but focusing on the true root of the problem, it allows you to solve multiple things at one time. That change order process is causing frustration for so many people, but to just go the quick answer. So it's spending that extra time, which I find the extra time by coming in as early as possible. I try to always be home in time for dinner, as much as I can, but I'll come in at any hour in the morning. I always saying that I really enjoy is your family doesn't miss you when they're sleeping. So I come in early in the morning and get all the stuff that needs to be done for the day so that I can have that time set aside to think proactively. It's really being proactive instead of reactive. And
right.
The things that are coming at you may cause you to pay attention to something, but you have to, again, go back to that bigger picture.
Right. Yeah, it is one of those weird things. It's a difficult lesson to learn. There are so many problems that come up in the course of a day for somebody who's in sales leadership. And I think you're right. Our first reaction is, how do I make that fire go away? We really don't stop and ask the question, what caused that fire? And so I think what ends up happening is we end up putting out the same fire almost habitually, because that's just part of the quote job description, rather than going back and figuring out, well, what do we have to do organizationally to, what caused that fire and how do I put that out? And my guess is that when you do that, it just trains you into a different level of thinking rather than being completely reactive to everything that's going on around you. So.
Yep. And then you just find good partners.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin, I can't thank you enough. That was phenomenal. Really, really powerful stuff. For everybody out there, you can go to brandpossible.com. You can go to presalewithoutfail.com. Follow Kevin on Facebook, on Twitter. I certainly do. And we appreciate very much having Kevin Oakley, the man and the legend, on with us today. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.